Volume beats talent. Always. What if the most talented person in the room is losing badly to someone far less gifted? They are. Every single day. The person who posts every day beats the genius who posts once a month. The person who makes 100 sales calls beats the silver-tongued closer who makes 10. The uncomfortable truth nobody wants to accept. Raw volume of action destroys raw talent in every measurable outcome. Speed of execution is a skill. Most people don't train it. They wait to feel ready. They polish. They prepare. Meanwhile, the person with less ability is lapping them 3 times over because they chose volume. When you commit to doing more reps than anyone around you faster, harder, without waiting for perfect, you don't just get ahead. You make it mathematically impossible for talent to catch up. The feedback loop is the shortcut. What if you could compress 10 years of experience into 18 months? You can. The mechanism is the feedback loop, and most people run it painfully slowly. They try something, wait, reflect, try again, weeks later. Top performers shrink that loop to hours. They act, measure the result immediately, adjust, and act again before most people have finished deciding what to try. Information is the real currency of progress. The faster you collect it, the faster you grow. Stop asking for permission to learn. Stop waiting for the right mentor or the right course. The market, your audience, your clients, your numbers is giving you feedback every single hour. The people who progress fastest aren't smarter. They're just paying more attention, more often, and responding faster than everyone else around them. Most people are playing defense with their time. What if you could get back 30 hours a week, not by working more, but by cutting ruthlessly? The average person spends their best cognitive hours reacting. Emails, notifications, other people's urgency. They get to their actual work, the work that moves the needle at 3 p.m. when their brain is half dead. High-speed progress is an offensive act. It means you decide, the night before, exactly what work moves you closer to the goal. And you do only that first, before the world wakes up and demands your attention. Slow progress isn't usually a motivation problem. It isn't a strategy problem, it's a defense problem. You're giving your sharpest hours to the least important tasks and wondering why you aren't moving. Guard your time like it's the last dollar in your account, because it is. Identity moves faster than goals. What if your goals are actually slowing you down? They might be. Goals are destinations. Identity is a vehicle. When you say, I want to become fit, you're standing outside a door hoping someone unlocks it. When you say, I am someone who never misses a workout, you've already walked through. The psychology changes completely. The person who has decided who they are doesn't negotiate with themselves every morning. They don't need motivation. They don't need accountability partners posting check-ins. The decision is already made. The fastest people in any field didn't set better goals. They adopted better identities first. Every action either confirms or contradicts who you believe yourself to be. Change the belief and the actions follow automatically. Stop chasing the result. Become the kind of person for whom the result is inevitable. Constraints accelerate. Comfort kills. What if the thing you think is limiting you is actually the very thing that would make you explode? Watch what happens when a creator is forced to make a video with a phone and no equipment. Watch what happens when a founder has $500 instead of $500,000. Constraints remove optionality, and optionality is the silent killer of progress. When you have unlimited time, you use all of it. When you have unlimited budget, you waste it. But when you have 2 hours and a hard deadline, you produce. The human brain under artificial pressure finds solutions it would never find in comfort. Stop waiting for the perfect conditions. Stop waiting for the funding, the camera, the office, the right moment. Put yourself in a box so tight that the only way out is through. You'll be shocked at how fast you move when luxury is removed. Compounding only works if you don't stop. What if the only real difference between you and the person 5 steps ahead is that they didn't quit on day 47? Almost certainly, that's it. Progress is not linear. It looks flat, then flat, then flat, and then it doesn't. It explodes. But the explosion only happens to people who stayed in the game past the point where it looked pointless. Most people quit right before the curve bends. They do 90 days of consistent work, see modest results, compare themselves to someone who's been doing it for 4 years, feel defeated, and stop. The people making it look easy aren't superhuman. They just didn't stop at day 47, or day 200, or day 400. They understood that consistency, compounded over time, is the most violent wealth-building, skill-building, reputation-building force available to any human being. The strategy isn't complicated. The strategy is, don't stop. What if I told you that the gap between where you are right now and where you want to be has almost nothing to do with talent? Nothing to do with luck. Nothing to do with the city you grew up in, the school you attended, the resources you were handed or weren't handed. What if the only real variable, the one that actually determines who makes it and who doesn't, is how fast you move? Not how perfect your moves are, how fast. Because here is what nobody tells you when you are sitting there comparing your beginning to somebody else's middle. The people winning, the ones who seem to be lapping you, are not more gifted. They are not more deserving. They have simply found a way to compress time, to extract more progress out of the same 24 hours that you have been given. And today I am going to show you exactly how they do it. Volume. The first thing you have to understand, and this is going to make some of you uncomfortable, is that volume beats talent. Always, without exception. The most gifted person in any room is losing to someone far less gifted every single day because that less gifted person chose to do more. You want to get good at sales. Make more calls than anyone else. You want to build an audience. Post more than anyone else. You want to develop a skill. Practice more than anyone else. The math is that simple and that brutal. There is no shortcut that bypasses volume. Every shortcut you have ever been sold is just volume in disguise. Smarter volume, better targeted volume, but volume nonetheless. The dangerous lie that holds most people back is the idea that they need to get better before they get faster, that they need to perfect the product before they launch it, that they need to study for 3 more months before they start. That lie costs people years. Talent is a ceiling, not a floor. And most people never even get close to their ceiling because they never got enough reps in to find out where it was. Feedback loop. Now here is the mechanism that separates the fast from the slow. It is the feedback loop. Most people run their feedback loop weekly, if they run it at all. They try something, wait several days, half forget what they even tried, vaguely notice whether it seemed to work, and maybe adjust. Top performers run their feedback loop daily, hourly, after every single action. They treat every outcome, success, failure, no response, a slow response, as a data point that immediately informs what they do next. You want to know why some people seem to grow at a supernatural pace? It is not because they have access to better information. It is because they are processing more information faster. The market is screaming at all of us constantly. Most of us have the volume turned down. The fastest movers in any field have it turned all the way up, and they respond to what they hear without delay and without ego. Your results are not the finish line. They are instructions. Read them immediately. Then act on them today. Time. Here is something that will make you want to throw your phone across the room. Most people are playing defense with the most valuable asset they own. Their time. You get up in the morning with a full tank of cognitive fuel. The sharpest, most creative, most focused version of yourself exists between the moment you wake up and the moment the world starts demanding things from you. And the overwhelming majority of people, including if you are honest, you are burning that fuel on email, on notifications, on other people's emergencies, on things that feel important but do not, in any way, move the needle on the life they say they want to build. Progress at speed is an offensive act. It means you have decided the night before what the 1 or 2 moves are that actually matter. And you do those first, before the inbox opens, before the phone lights up, before anyone else gets access to your best hours. Not your leftover hours, your best hours. The people who seem to be getting an unfair amount done are not working more hours. They are just working their best hours on the right things. Protect them like your life depends on it. Because your dreams do. Identity. Now, I want to talk about something that goes deeper than strategy. Something that once you get it, makes every other piece of this click into place. Your goals are slowing you down. Not because goals are bad, but because goals are destinations. And destinations require motivation to travel to every single morning. Identity is different. Identity is who you have decided you already are. And when you decide who you are, not who you want to become, but who you already are, the behavior follows automatically. No motivation required. No accountability partner posting gym selfies to keep you honest. The decision was already made. The fastest movers in every field I have ever studied did not set better goals than the people around them. They adopted a different identity first. They said, I am the kind of person who ships. I am the kind of person who never misses. I am the kind of person who outworks everyone in the building. And then they acted accordingly. Every single day. Not because they felt like it. Because it was simply who they were. Stop asking what you need to do differently. Start asking who you need to decide to be. Constraints. This next one is counterintuitive, and I need you to really sit with it. Constraints accelerate you. Comfort kills you. When you have unlimited time, you fill it with low-value activity. When you have unlimited budget, you waste it on optionality. When you have unlimited tools and resources, you spend your best hours choosing between them. But when you have a constraint, a deadline, a tight budget, a limited platform, a small window, something extraordinary happens. Your brain eliminates everything that is not essential and moves with precision. The best content you have ever created probably came from your phone. The best business idea you ever had probably came when your back was against the wall. The best version of your work almost always comes from constraint, not abundance. So stop waiting for conditions to improve before you start. Put yourself under pressure on purpose. Set a deadline that scares you. Take away one resource you think you cannot live without. Watch how fast you solve the problem when you have no other option. The constraint you are trying to escape might be the very engine that gets you there. Compounding, and finally, the one that ties everything together. The one that is so simple it almost sounds like nothing. And yet it is the difference between the people who make it and the people who don't. Compounding only works if you do not stop. Progress is not linear. I cannot say that enough. The people you look at and think had overnight success, I promise you they did not. They had 400 days of flat, 400 days of posting to an empty room, of sending pitches that went nowhere, of building something that nobody seemed to care about, and then quietly the curve bent, and then it bent again, and then it looked like an overnight success to everyone watching from the outside. The only thing that separates the person in the middle of that flat stretch, who quits, from the person on the other side of it, is that the second person decided it wasn't evidence of failure. It was evidence that the compound interest hadn't kicked in yet. Most people quit on day 47, or day 200, right before the bend. And the tragedy is that they will never know how close they were. Consistency, compounded, is the most violent wealth-building, skill-building, reputation-building force available to any human being alive. You do not need more talent. You do not need a better strategy. You need to not stop. That's it. That is the whole secret, wrapped in a sentence that sounds too simple to be true, but has created every great outcome that has ever existed. So here is where we land. You came in today thinking progress was a mystery, thinking some people had an ingredient you were missing. I hope you leave understanding that the ingredient is not rare. It is not expensive. It is not locked behind a degree or a network or a mastermind you cannot afford. It is volume. It is feedback. It is protecting your best hours. It is deciding who you are before you decide what to do. It is welcoming constraints instead of running from them. And it is refusing to stop when the numbers are flat and the room is quiet and every logical voice in your head is telling you it is not working. Progress faster than everyone is not about being superhuman. It is about being more committed than everyone, more consistent than everyone, more willing to look foolish, move messy, and stay in the game when everyone else has gone home. The gap between you and where you want to be is not as wide as you think. It is just faster than you have been willing to move. What if the only reason you are not where you want to be, right now, today, is not lack of talent, not lack of money, not lack of opportunity, but simply that you have been moving at the wrong speed? Because I have spent years studying the people who seem to be making progress at an unnatural rate, the ones who go from zero to something real in a fraction of the time it takes everyone else. And I found something that nobody is talking about. It is not intelligence. It is not luck. It is not who they know. It is a specific set of behaviors that compress time, that squeeze more real progress out of the same 24 hours you and I both have. And the terrifying part, most of these behaviors are completely backwards from what you have been taught. If you have ever felt like you are working hard but not moving fast enough, if you have ever watched someone pass you who seems less qualified, if you have ever wondered what the people ahead of you actually know that you don't, stay right here, because I am about to show you exactly how they do it. And by the end of this, you are going to realize you were one decision away from moving at a speed that shocks people.